So my name is Paul Seedar, and I joined Real Dad because someone gave me the information, and I was really hesitant to check it out. But I'm very glad I did. I'm glad I did because this is the group that, as a black man, you need, but you don't know you need, but you do know you need it. And for me, I was in that same category. I knew I needed something where I could confide in someone, where I could talk to people. And again, like most of us, I have friends that I talk to, co-workers, associates, etc. But there's something about a place where you can find black men who are fathers, who are going through the same ups and downs and struggles that you're going through. And sometimes it may not even be the same struggles and the same ups and downs, but they can offer insight and a different perspective and a different vantage point that you haven't considered. For me, that's exactly what I needed.
For all of the above that I'm never letting get near you, but still in all, give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, I've been down, cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
Only you, baby. You. Oh. Come on now. Check it out now. Every day you crossed my way, I was chilling, I was moving, I was straight. I was good and happy, but something about you drew me to. Lord knows I wasn't trying to fall, trying to stay low.
To another episode of Dad Is Not a Now. My name is Ishmael, changing the narrative for men of color fatherhood, as well as changing the narrative on the things I care about. And today I have a very special guest. I've been knowing this man for years behind the scenes. I've been following him for years, going back to the days of when I was behind the scenes of the Love Jones experience with Goddess Jones. I have the one and only father, husband, creative, just a man of many hidden talents, Bradd Marquis. Thank you for coming on the show, brother.
Man, thank you for having me, man. And that's how I know we go back, because you said the last name correctly without knowing. You know what I
mean? if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. I ain't had to say, no, it's Marquis, not Marquis. But that's how we know we go back.
Facts. And the question I ask all my guests before we get into it is, I'm an advocate of mental health, and especially with our community, especially being men of color, just men in general, it's hard for us to be vulnerable. So this question I'm going to ask you: how's your heart?
Real good right now. But that takes work. That's intentional. Yeah, as we age up, as we cross 30, cross 40, cross whatever, life becomes more intentional. So it's not a wake up, oh, I'm happy today. Nah, man, you do the things that bring you happiness. You do the things that bring you joy and peace. So you make those habits. So, it's not just a good day today. No, you make it a good day.
Definitely. And I like how you use that word intentional. And I feel as an artist, you're intentional with your music. It's not, you're not doing it just to get some money. You love the music. So talk about how you transition from, you started from gospel to the music that you're doing now. So talk about that.
Well, gospel wasn't even a choice. I grew up in the church. My pastor would say, I was in church 9 months before I was born, because my mom had me there, and my grandma, grandparents, all of them, they was rooted. How black, the whole family went to church. We went to church together. You had to go. And they had, they discovered I could sing, and they, put me in the children's choir and things that I didn't have a choice. My aunt was the children's choir director, and she was picking me up every Wednesday and taking me down for rehearsal. I didn't have a choice. So, it's what it was. And then as I got older, and, I was never limited in what I could listen to. My aunts and uncles and mom, dad, grandparents, everybody listened to, all genres of music, and they exposed me to it. And, I got to pick and choose, what I ran with. And, you know, in the 90s, you know, everybody loved Mike Jack. Everybody loved Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder, Prince, all of the, you know, so I was exposed to that. And, you know, I came up through the era of, you know, Beastie Boys and Run DMC and LL and, you know, on through, you know, Uptown and Bad Boy. So, you know, when that Father MC Treat Them Like They Want to Be Treated drop, you know,
Yes.
with Jodeci and, yo, that was it for me. Once I got a hold of that, I was like, yo, that's the music I want to make. And so I've been on that, you know, on that R&B journey ever since.
And you've been making great music. You've been making a great career for yourself, being an
Thank you.
independent artist,
Thank you.
which is amazing, which is hard to do, you know, as an
Yeah.
artist, as
Because
as
they
a
keep
writer.
moving the goalpost every
Yeah,
year.
seriously, especially in the days of streaming music,
Hmm.
it makes it even 10 times hard. So how is it hard being trying to stay up as technology always advance as an artist to stay, financially good in the music
Well,
business?
that's twofold. You know, there's multi-layered in there what you're talking about. You know, how to stay up as an artist. Just, you know, and I found that I just have to do it from a place of love. You know, I can't do it from a place of I want to be famous or I want to monetize this. I have to do it from a place of, you know, I love what I'm doing and let things land where they land with who they land with. But you know, as long as I love what I'm doing, I'm not upset that I'm doing it. You know,
Right.
and a lot of times we get upset at what we're doing because we're not getting the results that we're looking for. But my results aren't based in a monetary or a fame kind of space. It's based in a impact kind of place. You know, I want to, you know, I know somebody out there is healing and benefiting from the music that I'm creating. Whether I know their names or not, I know that somebody out there needs what I'm doing. So I need what I'm doing. So I just continue to create it. I love to do it, you know, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, you know, if we get a chance to talk about the new EP I have coming and all that stuff. But that also was a process that involved my son, you know, which is great for what we're talking about right now. But the second part about that, you know, staying financially sound, well, I have another job. I have multiple streams of income. I don't just lean into music, you know, to be my only thing, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having multiple streams of income, even if you have to get that 9 to 5, because that can be the vehicle that helps support your love, the thing that you love to do the most. And you know, once that thing that you love to do the most starts bringing you financial stability, then you can let go of those, you know, the 9 to 5, if that 9 to 5 is something that was just carrying the weight of your bills and things of that nature. Keeping up with technology, man, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we have to use it. We have to have it because that's the world we live in. But I know even just this week alone, and you know, I don't know when this is going to air, but this is, you know, this is the week of the Israeli-Palestinian
Yeah.
uprising. All that stuff is taking place, and just it's hard to be online.
Yeah.
It's hard to see those things that's happening to those babies and those. I don't care, Israeli and Palestine. I don't care who you are. Just from a place of humanity,
Yeah.
like just stop. I don't think we have, as a world, I don't think we have the stomach for it. You know, as the you know the everyday people. Not talking about the leaders and politicians who are moving back and forth for whatever reason, but just as a community, it's like just stop. We're tired. You know, we're tired of seeing it. We're tired of going through it. We know holistically it's just not right. Whatever's going on, let's find a way to piece it up and move on.
No, I agree with you 100%. It's just unfortunately, when you get into social media, that algorithm is about trauma bonding. It's just
Man,
showing that's what people resonate with. It's like your pain, my pain is worse than your pain, and this and that. But
I don't always. I don't necessarily. I agree with that to an extent. I believe, just like our kids, I believe people gravitate to what you feed them.
yeah,
You know, so if you're constantly feeding them that, then they believe that that's what they need and what they want. But if you
yeah,
fed them something different, then that's what they would need and that's what they would want. You know, so you know, whoever's controlling these things, whoever's controlling that algorithm, you know, and you know, it can be adjusted. We can adjust it, but it's not a one person, two-person thing. It's a cultural thing. It's a Martin Luther King march kind of thing. You know,
facts.
it's a million man march on the Capitol kind of thing. you know,
Yes.
that has to happen in order for things to really change.
Yeah.
In reference to music, though, navigating that space, it's again, it's hard because everybody says, I want to see you. I want to see everything you're doing. I want to watch you brush your teeth in the morning. I want to watch you while you're sleeping. And I just don't have the
Yeah.
personality for that. You know? So,
Nobody does.
but I'll give you, I'm learning, because this is new for me this year, literally this year, I'm learning to get comfortable with giving people this
Right.
positive, you know, giving more of this. I'd give it in spurts, but giving people more of, you know, dad is a noun, giving people more of that side of me as a husband, as a creator, as a father, as a you know, someone who inspired you, as a, you know, just giving the positive sides, and then maybe sometimes not so positive, but hit it with a positive spin so we all can grow and heal together.
No, and I agree. And it's crazy how music has evolved is that you have to be a personality instead of letting the music tell your story.
Yeah,
Because I come from a generation where you didn't know too many much about our artist's past or their
right,
life. You just
right,
knew it from the music they sent
right.
me.
You didn't get who they were until they released that book way
Yes.
after their career was, on chill mode or
Yeah.
icon mode. Then you get that book and oh, that's where you was at when that happened, or that, oh man, that now you go back and listen to the records and put yourself
Yeah.
there. And now they just know you lead with character and you follow up with music, or the music is the advertisement for the characters.
Right. That's so true. And talking about characters, talk about, I know the story of how you discovered Sam Cooke.
Mhm.
But talk about how you kind of turn it off. Like you're on stage, you're Sam Cooke. You
Mhm.
turn it off, I'm Bradd Marquis. So how does that work for you?
um I, you know what? It used to be like that,
Okay.
but now I'm seeing the value in just being, I mean, they're coming together, they're blending. I'm learning so much from his life and his story. I'm still learning. I've been doing this since 2009 and I'm still learning from his journey. I'm still learning from, his life, his death, and all the things in between. I'm still discovering new things, that's actually drawing out things within me. And it's funny, I had a moment the last show I did. I had a moment where I used to listen. Always listen to Sam Cooke stuff to get amped up, to get on stage, to do him, so I can put myself in his zone. I can put myself there. And there's one thing I listened to live in Harlem. It's
Mhm.
it's on all the platforms or what have you. Sam Cooke live in Harlem, and it's a moment in the show where you just hear the audience just wailing and crying and falling out like it's church or something like that. And I had one of those moments in my show. And I stood there and I was like, oh my, and I stopped, I won't say stop the show, but it's kind of like you in church. You just let the spirit take over
Right.
and you don't disrupt the spirit and you let people just have the moment, and and it just triggered like, oh my God, Bradd, like it sounded like the record, like what I was experiencing, what I was contributing sounded exactly like what he contributed when he was doing it. And I was like, this is just, it was a surreal moment. It just took me
Right.
away, and I don't want to take myself away from, that. Like it is what it is at this point. And a lot of, who I aspire to be as an artist is being channeled through, his memory and his music and all of that. And I think I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't try to apply those lessons to my own personal music. Yeah, so I don't try to break it up anymore. I'm Bradd. Like when I'm on the stage doing Sam Cooke, I'm Bradd doing Sam Cooke. I'm not
Mhm.
Sam Cooke. I'm not trying to be Sam Cooke. I'm just interpreting it in my way, But I'm honoring him in how I believe he would have done it,
Right. That's
And if
true.
he had he lived and been able to continue to transition how he was transitioned. That's almost like what I'm doing, like continuing the transition. His life got cut short
Right.
at 33. So I feel like I'm picking up where he left off and continuing that journey.
Definitely, definitely. I can definitely see that because your evolution as an artist has evolved. Like the song Change Gonna Come, it's like you kind of see it in the future. Like being that guy who was on Apollo singing the Donny Hathaway song.
Mhm.
But like, let's go into that a little bit. Like, talk about
Mhm.
that experience on being on Apollo,
Oh
because
man.
a lot of people forget a 13-year-old Lauryn Hill was on stage and got booed. That's facts. You know what I'm saying?
Jamie Foxx. Jamie
Yes.
Foxx got booed. It was a lot of folks who got booed coming through there. You know, and I was worried I was going to be one of them. You know, like that was a nutty experience. Is one I'll never forget. You know, just walking up there and you know, just even how I got on. I wasn't even supposed to be there. You know, because I didn't. You know, Apollo went on tour that like the year before. Apollo went on tour and they were going city to city looking for artists. And they came to Trenton, New Jersey, and I auditioned and I performed and I didn't win, but you know, I came in second place, but they loved my performance and they invited me to be a stand-in.
Mm.
And but to be a stand-in, you know, they have to have a slot for you. You may not necessarily, you can be there for a day, 2, 3 days and never get on that stage, you know, because if somebody keeps winning and they keep going, you just won't get an opportunity, you know, in that particular category. And so I just, the first day I happened to get an opportunity. I was there all day. I think 8, 9 hours, you know, they just shooting episode after episode. And I finally got an opportunity to go on that stage. And I was just, you know, as ready for the moment as I could be, you know, and when I got there and they called my name, Monique was hosting, you know, I literally forgot the song, like completely forgot the song. And I don't know who it was backstage. It may have been Monique, grabbed me and said, Brad, clear your mind. When you hear that first note, the song will come back to you. I promise you. And so I'm walking out. If anybody ever see the videos on YouTube, you'll see me walking out, my head's down, and I'm just scared as I can't believe. And you know, I touched the log, and sure enough, as soon as Mr. Chu hit that note, off I went. You know, and then when I saw them responding and getting all, you know, hyped up, took me to a whole nother level, you know. And the crazy part about that is they showed my performance on the Best of the Apollo till the Apollo stopped running, till the showtime of the Apollo stopped running. I don't know, it was 2010, 2011, you know, but for 6 years, I believe, plus, they ran my performance of Donny Hathaway's A Song for You. You know, I have friends, family, everybody who know that song because of me, you know, and prefer my version of that song, which is absolutely insane.
It's phenomenal because when you hit the first couple of notes, you already had the audience. You
Man.
had the audience like going crazy. It felt like the scene out of Five Heartbeats. You know how we
another moment in time I've always wanted, you know?
and you had that moment that day. You had the crowd in the palm of your hands, and that's rare for like an R&B artist on Apollo. You know, you had to sing because you know there's people that can sing and there's
Right,
people that can sing.
right, right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? And so
Sang, as
you
they say,
sang.
SANG.
Facts, facts. And then talk about another moment I think was powerful was your first single and how DJ K Slay promoted it. Talk
God
about
rest
that.
his soul. Yeah, God rest his soul, man. Yeah, my first single was Radio. We dropped that in, I think it was 2006. You know, yeah, it was a nutty time because you know, I was going to record labels at that time and I wasn't getting any kind of love, you know, and I decided to, you know, hit the ground, hit the circuit and just build my brand, build my name. And so I'm rolling through New York doing all of the spots, you know, I'm doing all the underground spots, I'm doing all the pay for play spots, you know, because you had to pay, you know, either you sold 40 tickets or you paid, you know, $400 or something like that to get on somebody's stage to be seen and heard. You know, this was still an opportunity. This was still a time in history where, you know, you could get discovered and you can get put on without necessarily having a million Facebook followers or something like that. You know, it was still an A&R kind of world, and it was still a let's sign them and developing as an artist kind of world, you know. And so yeah, so my intention was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna make my name known. And that's what I did. And I started winning a few shows that you know, I started targeting K Slay because he always hosted a show every month, and I started doing those shows. And I wasn't winning out the gate. I probably did 2 or 3 before I started winning, you know. But I learned how to win doing those shows. I learned how to perform doing those shows. Again, stuff that we don't see a lot of these days with artists, you know, behind the scenes, where you have to, you know, make your bones and pay your dues before before you're seen and you on these stages. Nowadays, you got 1 million Facebook followers, they throw you on stage and you don't know what you're doing.
Facts.
You know, and then now ain't nobody coming to your show no more. But, you know, I had to make my bones that way. K Slay, you know, I won a few shows. He's, you know, one of them was, you know, he said he loved my single. He loved radio. He was going to break it. And he broke it on Hot 97. Off went Bradd Marquis. Off went radio. The song went around the world. He put it on one of his straight stunting mixtapes. I was the only
Which is
unsigned.
rare for R&B artists.
Yeah, which is, how about that? I was the only unsigned artist on the mixtape.
Facts.
And it went all over the world. Music Choice picked it up. Music Choice didn't even have my name right, but they had the song spinning, you know, and it just took over. And you know, I've been growing and building ever since. So thanks to him, you know, thanks to him, blessings to him.
Facts. And talking about taking over, talk about, you know, finding that a special one, that love, and being a father. Talk about that.
Man. You know, that again, another journey. You know, another journey we all have. You know, we live, we love, and hopefully with each hopefully with each person that you meet or with each situation you find yourself in, you find a little bit more out about yourself. And, you know, once you get to that space of knowing what it is that makes you tick and what it is that, you know, will keep you coming back for the rest of your life, you know, you can choose the right person, you know, who, you know, because my guy used to say, Brad, what's your top 3 non-negotiables? Right. You know, you're not going to get everything you want in one person, you know, but you can get the things that you know you need to maintain this relationship, be happy, to keep growing, to keep evolving, you know. And that's the whole point, because, you know, I'm not the same person I was at 20, not the same person I was at 30, not the same person I was at 40, you know. And, you know, you have to be with somebody who's going to grow with you, and somebody that you want to grow with. You can allow them to grow, you know, and keep loving the different iterations of that person, you know, and keep, you know, and just keep, you know, like I said, life is not black and white. It's not linear, you know. Once you take those expectations off and allow yourself to be human, allow the other person to be human, you know, then you can start just figuring each other out and flowing with one another, you know, and stop putting these, you have to be this and you have to do that. And if you don't do that, look, if I'm a better cook than you, then I'm a cook. You know, if you're better handling the money and paying the bills, then you do that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to roll with what society says it has to be. You know, we're going to do what works for us. Right. You know, and we're going to keep getting better at that. Right. You know, shutting out social media and friends and all the other people who got the chattering lips. You know, we're going to shut that out. We're going to do what we do. Right. Fatherhood has been the best thing going. You know, fatherhood has been, you know, I absolutely love being a dad. I love taking care of my son. I love, you know, teaching my son. I love watching him grow and experience new things. I see new things through his eyes and new ways. You know, it's always a scary thing. You don't always know how things are going to turn out when he's an adult. You know, but you do your very best to model what it is that you hope for him or her to be. You know, and that's the trick. It's not do as I say. It's you have to model it. You know, those days of do as I say and you know, not as I do, or they didn't exist then, but you know, parents thought they did. But even more today with the internet and information, you have to explain things to your kids. You have to talk to them. You know, I'm not saying acquiesce to everything, but at least you can explain what your decisions are. Sometimes they understand, sometimes they not. But the fact that you explain it, you know, you can pick it up. You know, when you explain it at 5, you explain it at 10, you explain it at 15, you explain it. Hope that consistency allows it to stick, you know, and at some point they're going to go on their own. They're going to have their own experiences. They're going to research things. They're going to, you know, have to figure it out on their own. And hopefully the lessons that you taught them will lead them in the right spaces.
And I think that's important too. But also talk about the value of being patient as a dad.
Um, you got hope, God willing, you got time. God willing, you got time. And I don't, like I said, life's not linear. Life is not, I'm going to tell him or her this right now and they're going to pick up on it. But if you sow seeds over time, hopefully they grow into, what you hope that they would be, and that, again, that's what you said, that requires patience. That requires staying in this moment, that requires knowing that this is not they're not going to pick it up. They don't pick up math in a day, they don't pick up reading in a day, they don't pick up being a great basketball player or boxer or whatever in a day. These are things that have to put in their 10,000 hours and work over time. Being the best toothbrusher in the world might take 10,000 hours. So you just have to be patient and allow them to pick it up in their speed, or at least acknowledge, okay, you might need a little bit more help here, or you might need a little bit more help in this area, and be able to go out and get it. But I think patience is the key. I don't think, what else, you can't do anything, you have to have it.
No, I definitely agree with that. And give me a proud dad moment.
Proud dad moment. So
Yeah,
many,
so
so many,
many.
so many, so many, so many, so many. I mean, I have them all the time. I have them every day. When he spits something back to me that, I've been saying to him, or just when I talk to his teachers and the teachers tell me, how good of a kid he is, you're not, oh, he's learning everything and he's genius and da 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 da,
Yeah.
but the person that he is,
Mm,
how respectful he is to his teachers and his friends, how patient he is with the people around him, or how just compassionate he is and how loving he is. Those are the things that he's smart, he's a genius, I love it. I think most of these kids are with this internet,
yeah.
they learn what they learn, but him being a good person is what, because that means I'm modeling that for him. That means that's what he sees. But me, his mother, the people that surround him, that's what he sees. And that's what I'm most proud of. It's the fact that he is, when he's around others, he's respectful, good person, all that. It was funny. He called me sir the other day. He's
Really?
like, he's been saying it. I was like, yo, dude. I was like, I'm not in the military. I was like, you don't have to call me sir. I was like, dad is just fine. I'm good with dad. I understand. He's like, no, I'm just being respectful. I was like, I appreciate that. But sir's never been my thing. Dad, I'm good with dad. That's respectful enough.
But that's awesome that you laid that groundwork, that you're raising a respectful, diligent young man, which is important because, again, we live in a society where young Black boys is stigma as rough and savages and things like that.
Right.
And so
Right.
you got to work extra hard to
Yeah.
mold your kid
Yeah. And it's
to
and it's
not be
it's
that
it's
example.
tricky too, because you don't want them to be a pushover, you don't want them to get bullied, you want to be able to protect themselves, but you don't want them to lead with that.
Right.
And it's hard when other kids may lead with that. That's the energy that they're bringing. So you have to teach them how to balance that. And that's not always easy. That's where there's a lot of gray areas, some lumps you might have to take, or as a parent you might make some mistakes, as a kid you might make some mistakes, just trying to figure out how to navigate that space.
Definitely, definitely. Let's transition into the new single.
Yeah,
Only
yeah.
You, Oh You. Let's talk
Oh,
about that.
you. Oh, you. Well, it's funny, back to a point that was, mentioned earlier, you know, my son was, I have him for the summer, and I have him every month, for a week or so out of every month, based on the school schedule. But, I always have him for the summer, two and a half months during the summer. And he was here, and I wanted him to see me do this project.
Wow.
I wanted him to see me get up and go to work. I wanted him to see me come home and work with him, because this summer was the summer of soccer. So we're out there every day working on the soccer skills, and I wanted him to see me, love on my wife. I wanted him to see me and sit down and work on this music. Like, that's a full day,
Right.
but nothing got sacrificed, I tried not to let anything get sacrificed that day, specifically the time with him. So as he got older, when he grew up, regardless if he really remembers it all or not, he'll see that work ethic. Like dad got up and he worked the whole, 8-hour shift or whatever, but he didn't let that, he didn't come home and say, I ain't got time for you. He got up and went to an hour and a half. We went to the soccer field and we worked on skills. I'm out there running with him. I'm hoping not to pull a groin or something. I'm out then I come home, then we come back, we eat, we chill, and then I come up and I start writing, working on these, and he's right here with me,
Wow.
as I'm working and writing these songs. So he got to experience the whole process, and it was funny. I had released, I had did a live show. I did a live show, the Sam Cooke. It was streamed live, all of that, and I'll probably bring it back for the holidays. But he was watching it and he was like, I thought I was gonna see, one of the songs that's on the EP. I thought I was going. He thought I was gonna perform the songs from the EP.
Wow.
And that's exactly what I said. And he started naming the songs that he wanted to hear. I
Wow.
didn't think he was paying that much. He was in the room, but I
Right.
didn't know how much attention he was paying. And for him to be able to tell me the titles and sing the songs was crazy to me.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. So even though he's not, I don't know if he's paying attention. I
Right.
don't think he's paying. He's playing his toys, watching
Right.
his show, or playing video. Playing his Switch or whatever. But he knew exactly what he wanted to hear, and he knew exactly what songs that I was working on and all of that. And I was like, okay, mission accomplished.
Definitely mission accomplished. Has he ever come to you and say, "Hey, Dad, why am I not on the as a credit?"
He actually is.
He is dope.
He actually is. I mean, that's if these songs take off and there's a lot of residual income royalties from them. I mean, why should he not? Why can't I carve out 10-15% for him? Like he can have that for. I don't care.
Right.
Like I can't. This is stuff that he'll be able to hopefully bank on well after I'm gone.
Right.
This still can be some secondary income coming in for him, or just whenever he may need it. So that's for moving forward. That's going to be everything I put my hands on. I'll write his name in on it. I think I saw that with Jay-Z or some of these other artists out here who ended up doing that, Swizz Beats or something, who ended up doing stuff like that. It's like, why not?
Right.
Keep it spinning, keep it in the family. But he has had his moments where it's funny. I did a Sam Cooke show, and they surprised me and brought him in.
Oh wow.
Didn't because it was at a time where he was in school, things of that nature, and I didn't know if he'd be able to make it. And his mother flew him in, and her and my wife coordinated and flew him in. And so at the end of the show, they walked him out on stage and all of that, and I'm boohooing and all that, and and I looked at him and he looked like he wanted the microphone.
Wow.
But I didn't give it to him. I should have, but I didn't give it to him. So we did our little love thing on the stage, and I asked him a couple days later. I was like, "What would you have done if I gave you the mic?" I was like, "Did you want the mic?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, well, "What would you have done if I would have given to you?" He was like, "Sing." I'm like, what? I was like, "Can you?" No, he can sing. He can sing.
Okay.
But I'm like, I didn't. He got hard like that,
Right.
and because he's seen me do it for so long, I've had him on the stage since he was 3 years old. I would bring him up on stage with me. He feels like that's a home and a place that he doesn't have the anxieties I have. He'll get up there and just, I'm sure he would have tried to sing. I'm sure he would have tried to take over the whole thing.
That probably would have went viral.
He probably would have looked at the band and said, "On me."
Right.
On me, follow me. Like, he's done. Brad, go sit.
Right.
Dad, go sit down. I'll take it from here.
No, and it's an awesome feeling, man. Bro, this has been an amazing conversation.
Man,
What?
I love it. Thank you.
No, thank you, man. What I love about the process of the single is that you're modeling that behavior.
Man, it's in addition to what the EP is about and what the single's about, that part was just very joyful for me, and made for a great energy. Like the whole process was done with him here, from writing it to, to producing it, to singing it, all of that stuff, recording it, all of that stuff was while he was here. So I was done by the time he, went back home to school for the summer. I was done with it.
Wow.
And he got to see the whole process of me putting together an EP and a project, but yes, the OU, only you, the single is called OU. The single is out now. We just dropped it on the 13th, on October 13th. We haven't decided when the EP is going to come out, but probably not to the new year. You know how these single game is. We're
Oh
going to
yeah,
stretch it out a
definitely.
little bit. But go listen to that OU, man. It's a beautiful song. Like I said, this EP is, it was inspired a lot by Luther Vandross' music. Not to say that it sounds like Luther. What I pulled from Luther was just the fact that he wanted his music, just wanted to make people be in love again.
Yeah.
His music was positive. His music, brought joy out of your heart and your soul, gave you goosebumps full of joy, and I wanted to embody that in the writing and in the melodies and in the singing and all of that. Now, production wise, it's nowhere near that. It's it's Afrobeat merged with R&B. So, it's not a boring, slow down thing. You actually going to probably be dancing the whole EP.
And I think you need to listen to that single. You gotta add that to your favorite music list if you're out there
Please.
listening to it.
Please. And
Please
share and
share,
share some,
share it. Share it with your uncles, share it with your mom, share it
all of
with
that.
your grandma, share it with
Share
everybody.
it with your daughter and your son, because they're gonna love it too, man. Like I said, kids, my son gets in the car and say, "Dad, can you play your Sam Cooke?" So
Wow.
don't tell me kids just want to hear what's going on now. They,
Facts.
they they love what you introduce them to.
That's right. That's right. And before we end the podcast, bro, tell the people how they can find you.
Everything is Bradd Marquis, BraddMarquis. I'm finally on TikTok. Don't jump on me when you see me on TikTok. I ain't a TikTok head right now. I'm trying, it took me like 100 years to get on there. I'm just now just jumping on there. But everything is Bradd Marquis, man. Please holler at me, talk to me, man, and we keep these conversations and support going.
Fact. Make sure you do that. Support that, as well as support the podcast. Again, I'm all about changing the narrative for men of color and fatherhood,
And
as well
thank you
as
for
changing the
thank you
narrative on the things I care about. And we're out of here. Peace.